So we now have the last picture.
Because he looks shocked and disappointed.
Well done.
Because the other one has
Yes, he looks shocked, disappointed.
So that's different from ours.
We could use the word disillusioned, I think, too.
Yeah.
You are right, and I must tell you, I've done this before over many years.
Is there an action? Please help me.
Disenchanted,
To make the
disenchanted, disillusioned,
Yeah.
disappointed. This is an old cartoon. I've used it many times, and you are the first group to ever get the story correct.
You just wanted to
And you know why? It's true. And the reason for that is because of the ambiguous pictures there. There's a confusion often with those pictures. But you rightfully saw the cartoonist had drawn little things coming out of the man's head, which is suggesting some kind of frustration or disillusionment or something. So, and you very rightly saw the difference between the short beard, the shadow, and of course the larger beard. So well done, that's really good. A simple cartoon, yes? All right. We have the picture. I'd just like you to think about the process, what we just went through. The process we went through there, I'd like you to think about the process, and I'd like you also to think about what language you were using in terms of structures when you were talking about these pictures and justifying your choices. What languages, what structures were we using? We know what language we're using. What structures were we using? Lots of phrasal verbs. There were phrasal verbs. That's modals. There were some phrasals too. Modals. Now, modals, of course, because we were justifying. This might be, it could be, yeah?
Yes.
A lot of modals there. What else were we using?
Present progressive.
The present tense, the present progressive, the present perfect is all used.
Yes.
Okay, it's a lot of language there. In a way, what you've also been doing in the whole exercise is negotiating. However, we've got our picture. And of course, like movies, like any stories, we have a choice. We can tell a story in chronological order from the very first scene or the very first picture, or we can take it out of chronological order. And with any story like this, we have the pictures there to help us, to guide us. If I were to take this picture out of the middle and bring it up here to begin our story. So what I've done, if you can't see, is the man looking out through his binoculars at the sea. If I start the story like that, I've taken it out of chronological order. Okay, if we're going to be now telling the story in narrative tenses, what tenses do I need now if I'm going to take that out of chronological order?
Past perfect.
The past perfect, exactly. And we're using the past perfect simply when we have two pieces or even three pieces of information or more, but one piece, in this case, is taken out of the order. It may appear in our story as the first action. It may appear as the first action, but what we do actually is to let people know by using the past perfect what action happened, what action really happened first. All right? So, let's start with the past continuous. Yeah? So let's start here. What can you say? There was...
Man.
Yeah?
Sitting on a pleasant island.
Desert.
Oh, you've changed the order.
I've changed it.
was a man being on a desert island trying to spot out somebody to rescue.
Okay, so there was a man sitting on a desert, standing on a desert island, in this case looking through his binoculars hoping to be rescued. Yes?
You waited and waited.
He waited and waited for a long time.
But now you, sorry, now you have changed the tenses. Didn't you say to start with past perfect?
Where can we use the past perfect?
He had been staying.
Okay.
He had been staying on that island for quite a long time.
He had been staying on the island for a long time.
But that's the next picture.
It could be.
No. It's,
It could be the next picture. It could also what happened before the picture with the binoculars. Yeah?
He had been sitting or waiting for a rescue team while he. This is present, past.
While he was looking through the binoculars.
He had been and the past perfect.
Okay. All right. Now, if we've done that, we've used the past perfect to indicate what happened first, or what was happening first. It depends. You could use the past perfect continuous. We can then continue with the story. One day,
Suddenly
He saw something.
Something
appearing
near
the horizon.
near the horizon.
one day he saw something appearing on the horizon, and he got up, jumped up and down. He was terribly excited, and then we can follow the story on. Yeah. Now we don't necessarily have to start here. We could start in chronological order, but we could, if we want to go back, we might want to know why he's there. There was a man sitting on the island.
Well, his wife dropped him.
he had been on a sailing tour. He had been on a sailing tour.
Sent him
On his own,
shopping on
and
the island.
then came a storm and
He had been sailing on his own, and there was a storm,
Yes.
and he was shipwrecked. Okay, so we've started here, but we've actually gone back before in order to establish what happened. So we're going to use past perfect, obviously. Okay. All right. I'm preaching to the converted. However, a bit like your game before, you were using us matching the sort of opposites with adjectives by having people doing it. Just by having pictures is just a variation of telling a story. And I find it simplifies it. Some people love to do that exercise but write it down, and I never ever interfere with that because that's the way some people like to work, so different intelligences. I'd like to show you now something on the board.